Oh, does anybody like animals in this room? Got any pet lovers? I like cats. I have to admit, I love dogs, but I love cats. And the one thing I really love about cats is when they cuddle with you. And so sweet, early morning, thank you. Thank you for the lights. It's so sweet, early morning, you know, you're rolling out of bed, you're kind of tossing and turning, and a little kitty comes up, and they're so cute, and you're petting her, everything's fine. They start the little purr, oh, it feels so good, right? And they get a little closer to your neck. And by this time, you've been awake for a few seconds, and you're kind of like, oh my God, can this thing go away for right now? And they get a little closer to you, and it's boo, boo, right in your face, and you're like, oh my God, your nails start scratching a little deeper. And you're just like trying to piss this fucking kitty off, like, okay, now go away from me. Then it's purring even louder, and finally, I just want to snap its neck and throw it across the room. And you're like, are you fucking kidding me? It's 7 o'clock in the morning. Why are you waking me up? But I realize as I'm throwing the cat, it's so cute. Like, it's just this little fluff ball in the air, and then it has this nice little, hits the wall, and it slides down, and you're like, oh my God, look how adorable you are, you're so cute. And all this time, I'm still in bed, and I look over, make sure my girlfriend didn't see him, like, she's still sound asleep. I'm like, oh. So now I've been up for like 5 minutes now dealing with this cat thing. And I gotta fart when I wake up in the morning. So I'm like, it's kind of cold outside. I like put one leg out the covers. I'm like, no, it's too cold. And I pull the covers over my butt. I'm like, nah, I'm just gonna let one go inside the covers. And I look over, and she didn't see it. She didn't see it, so it's good. She's still asleep. And I noticed there's like this stain, this drool stain on her pillow. And so I judge her real quick. I'm like, oh my God, what the fuck? But I realized the drool stain is on the back of her head, like near the back of her head. And I'm like, whoa, wait a second. Oh, that's right. I was trying to be sweet and romantic, and I was cuddling with her at night. And I had my mouth open, tongue out, and just drooled over the whole entire pillow. And so I'm like, okay, she's not gonna see that, whatever. So I wake her up, right? We're getting ready to go to Reading. We're making a trip over the mountains. This is last weekend. Horrible, horrible time to drive from here over to the valley. Winter weather, pouring down rain. We get in the truck, we're warming it up. I mean, I don't know if you guys are used to this, but the fog, right? The fog on the windshield. You gotta take like 5-10 minutes. So we're warming it up, and I'm like, fuck this, let's go. So we start driving, I'm like driving like this. I'm like looking through the middle of the steering wheel. I'm like, can you see over there? I can't really see much. Can you see? Are we good? Are we good? I'm like wiping it down with my beanie and shit, and it's all smeared. I'm like rolling down the window, looking outside, like rain's hitting me in the face, and I'm asking her like, am I clear? Am I clear? And we're like halfway over, you know, we're going through snow, through Weaverville, like sliding down. She's like, oh my God, why are you trying to kill us? Like, it's fucking snow. How do you control how to drive on snow? I don't understand. And we're listening to music, and I'm like grabbing water, and trying to drink water, and I'm like driving with my knee, and like eating food, and smoking a bowl, and I'm like still looking through this tiny little piece of clearness in the windshield. And finally it clears, and we get to Reading, and oh, it's so nice. But the scariest part of that is the mountain crumbles when it rains. The side of the mountain falls and lands in the road, and you have a 3/4 fogged out windshield, and you're trying to like maneuver around these rocks. Like, how do you do that? There's road workers going, slow down, slow down. And the guy in front of us, this big rig, he's not the guy who was telling him to stop. He slams on his brakes, right? And I'm like, oh fuck! And I'm slamming on my brakes, and I'm looking around like, what? There's no stop sign. And so I see there's like a boulder, like easily 30, 40-pound boulder just sitting there. I'm like, damn, I would have fucked up my truck. I'm like, oh, thanks, man. I gave him a high five. I'm like, yoo, out the window. And we go driving, and there's another little rock slide. By this time, there's like 2 cars coming towards us. And I'm looking over at my girlfriend, and I'm like, I just gotta do it. I just gotta hit these little rocks. And so we hit these little rocks, and I'm like, whatever, no big deal. By the time we get to Reading, I'd already been corresponding with my buddy. We're going to a house party. And so we get to Reading, we're going to this house party, right? We don't know like a single person at this house party. I know one person. Has anybody been in that situation? You get invited to a house party, you feel like you're like the 17th wheel? Is that what that would be, 30th wheel? We show up, right? I got my vest on, it's fucking cold, it's Reading. Where it's all cold outside, and we walk in, the first thing we hear, who invited the homeless people? And like, I didn't even hear that. That's the part that sucked. I would have been right up front like, yeah, who did invite the homeless people? I'm looking around. Where are they? Where the fuck are they? I want to see these guys. And so, like, I didn't hear that. My girlfriend, you know, tells me this, and I'm like, whatever, fuck that shit. And I'm looking over at these people at the table, and they're like, because I went like this. They're like looking at me, and they're pointing at their nose, and they're like, he's got something like on his fucking nose. Like, what the fuck? Who the fuck is this guy? And I look at them, and I go, all right, this is done. And I walk right up to him, I'm like, hey, what's up? What are you guys talking about? They're like, oh, I'm sorry. We saw like there was like a light through your nose. I'm like, yeah, I have my fucking nose stretched. People get piercings, no big deal. And I pop my septum plug out and I'm like sticking my finger through it and they're like, oh my God. And she asked me, did that hurt? Like I have to know, did that hurt? And I see these two older dudes. It's like Reading, if you guys don't know Reading, it's like straight hicks. Big fucking trucks, like big boots, and it's always like Carhartt and the wallets that stick out like 7 inches past the wallet, you know, like past the pocket.
3530.
And so these guys are looking at me like, who the fuck is this guy? Fucking talking to my wife, what the fuck? And they're like, piercings, who's this? And he looks right back at me and I go, you wanna know how it felt? It felt like I had an orgasm. It felt so good when I got my nose pierced. And he's looking at me like, oh my God, he's starting to become homophobic now because I'm basically hitting on him, like telling him, what's up, dude? I felt really good. Do you want to feel it? By this time, I'm over it. Fuck you guys. There's a campfire outside. Let's go to the campfire. I walk out to the campfire, got my little vest on. I'm like, oh yeah, warming my hands up. And I always carry rosemary on me. And so I pulled out some rosemary and I threw it in the fire. What was that?
Hippie.
Yeah, well you gotta, you know, come on, it's rosemary. It's beautiful. It smells so good. You can use it for so many things. You know, deodorant, rub it on your pits a little bit. It smells great, right? So I throw it in this fire and as the smoke comes out, and the owner of the house is there. And he stands, he's like getting, you know, the smoke blows towards beauty or whatever. And he's like getting hit with all this smoke and he's like, oh man, that smells good. Who put that thing in the fire? And I'm like, oh, sorry man, that was me, it's just rosemary. And he pulls out his mag light, just, dude, we got rosemary in the side of the fucking house, check it. And like shines his fucking into the yard, there's all these bushes of herbs everywhere. And he's like, you can take as much as you want. I'm looking at this guy like, are you serious right now? Okay, whatever, cool. So we're out in the rain, we're like picking rosemary, we're picking sage. His wife comes out with like all this garlic and these oranges and lemons. And I'm thinking back to what that person said. You brought the homeless people. And I'm holding all this food and all these herbs. And I'm like, fuck, yeah, this is the shit. Like, you brought us? Who the fuck brought you guys? You're giving us food. And I walk and I parade right back through the whole party like, like it's like rosemary wafting behind me. And I go put him in my truck and I come back and by the time I get back, the owner of the house is like, everybody's doing shots. We're doing Jaeger shots. Woo! And so we go into the kitchen and I realized at that point, I was in the center of the party. I'm like, I don't know any of these people. There's easily 30 people here and I'm in the fucking center. I tell my girlfriend, I'm like, hey, I'm not really comfortable being right here. This is like, friends should be here. People who know this guy should be here. And then we hear somebody had dropped the Jaeger bottle on the ground. And you hear like, oh, party foul. And this girl's all upset, her face is all red, you know. And she's flipping everybody out like, fuck you, fuck you. We're cleaning up this Jaeger. Looks like iodine smeared all over the ground. And the owner, he looks at me and he's like, dude, I'm gonna lap that up. And I look at him like, no, hang on. Give me some paper towels. Someone pulls out some paper towels for me and I'm on my knees and I'm like wiping this stuff up and I feel it. I'm like, no, it's gotta get wetter. More wet, more wet. And then I tell him, I'm like, yo, get on your knees. And he looks at me kind of like, what are you gonna do to me right now? And his wife goes, hang on, let me get my camera. And he tilts his head back and puts his mouth open. And I'm right above him squeezing Jaeger out of like all these pieces of napkin, just like, ah! Squeezing all these shots, just dripping down his face onto his shirt. Everyone's like, yeah, having so much fun. All these lights and photos are going off. And I stand up and people are still shooting photos. And I realize, I'm like, wait a second, I'm gonna be in at least 6 of these photos. So I'm gonna photobomb some of these. Like photobombing, if you guys don't know what that is, photo poaching, whatever you wanna call it, it's where you realize someone's about to take a photo and you sneak in the back and like put your face out or like put your crotch in someone's face and they don't know it, you know? And so I'm in the back like raising my shirt up and then like putting my ass out and then the wife just keeps taking all these photos. And if the band would like to play a little music for me, I would really like this. I want to end tonight with my poses of my photo poaching. So thank you guys for coming. Hope you guys want to laugh some more. And here are my poses. So there's like people right here. There's people right here.